I'm the Group Sales Director for a company called Forward & Thinking. I'm here today to apparently talk to you about a career in media and what that means and what that might look like. So full disclosure, there will be a little bit of audience participation, which is mandatory. And there might be a few questions at the end as well, if there's any take-homes or anything else like that from it. So I will give you forewarning when that audience participation bit comes in, and it's now. So we kind of got asked to talk about a career in media, and I was speaking to the guys at work, and I was kind of saying, well, what does a career in media actually look like in terms of just job titles for a start off? So can anyone shout out what kind of job titles might kind of come under this kind of broad phrase of media?
Film director.
Film director, good one. That was the first one that somebody else said as well. Anyone else? So we've got film director. I work in advertising and marketing, for example. Anybody else?
Game developer.
Game developer, that's another really, really good one. Sound technician. Digital artist. What, sorry? Yep, absolutely. Never even heard of that position, so nice one. Cameraman up there, for example. So you're absolutely right. So a little bit of a tip for you when you're doing presentation. Always have a real pithy statement up there, so you can read off it and then translate it for everybody. It says, if you have a job in media, it means that you work in a field that revolves around managing mediums that pass along relevant information to those who want it. Basically, it's about communicating to, it's influencing and communicating to a target audience, basically. So careers can include, as we rightly pointed out, film stuff, but also writing and editing, journalism, both broadcast journalism or being a newsreader or anything like that. Producing and production, so anything behind the camera, such as cameramen, cinema photography, graphic design, game developments, and anything else like that. And also the field that I work in with my agency, which is advertising and marketing. And all of those kind of different job titles are also really, really broad, really, really varied, and there's loads and loads of different options in the field. To talk to you a little bit about who we are and what we do as an agency to start off with, I guess, we have another statement, which is Forward & Thinking are a media buying and digital marketing agency. We're a close-knit team of highly enthusiastic individuals that deliver powerful campaigns across multiple channels, from outdoor advertising, video, TV production, to pay-per-click digital campaigns. Our experts research and select media that motivates. To translate that to what I tell my clients is, we've got a bunch of clients, and they could be in any sort of sector. We work with colleges, we work with universities, we also work with companies selling conservatories, we work with online fashion brands like Boohoo and I Saw It First, and we, in consultation with them, put together campaigns that ensure that they reach the audience that they want to reach, so that they get more students through the door, that they get more online sales, they flog more conservatories, or whatever it is they want to do. We choose the right media for them at the right time, at the right price, etc. So that's kind of what we do. My career timeline, I guess, is, I suppose it's fairly generic. It's quite interesting I'm doing this presentation here because I graduated from Loughborough University back in 1996 with a degree in drama, which qualified me to do absolutely nothing at all. I didn't want to be an actor. I think I'd spent far too long hanging around with drama types to actually want to carry on hanging around with drama types for any longer than I needed to. So that kind of left me in a bit of a quandary because I graduated, I didn't know what I wanted to do, I needed a job, I needed some money, I had student debt. So I kind of started applying through varying different newspapers, and one advert came up that interested me, and it was for a sales executive, and it had the 3 magic words that I looked for any job. Does anyone know what those 3 magic words are? No experience necessary. And I thought, that's me. I've got no experience. I'm 100% qualified for this. So I did 3 interviews for that job. I did a telephone interview, I did a in-person interview, and I had to do a group presentation for that job as to why I wanted that job really, really badly. And it was for £9,000 a year, which doesn't sound like a lot of money now, and it certainly wasn't a lot of money then either. But I got the job, and I found that I had a kind of a natural aptitude for it. And that wasn't in a kind of gift of the gab, sell anything to anyone kind of way. It was more that I really got off on introducing clients to audiences, and I got off on the success of those clients and being able to communicate to a wider audience for those clients. So I followed the typical career path, kind of did really, really well. I then left and worked for a blinds company, spending £18.5 million a year on their advertising. And my job there was specifically, again, to choose the right media for that blinds company to make sure that they reached the right people and sold as many blinds as they humanly could, basically. So I think I left them in a position where they were turning over £150 million a year. So I like to think I did an all right job for them. But I missed sales, and I missed the sales environment, so I went back in and I started as a sales manager at a billboard company, which is kind of a broadcast media, I guess, and rose up through the ranks to become business director there. And again, my desire to help companies and clients grow, and my desire to actually become a plug-in to their marketing department where I could, found me here at Forward and Thinking as the group sales director for that company. And genuinely, I love what I do. I love the fact that I can talk to our clients about any single media. I have no bias towards it. If they want to do a TV advert, I'm on board with that. If they want to do a radio advert, I'm on board with that. And we choose what is best for them to get the best possible result. So that's kind of me, and it kind of got me thinking, am I unique in this industry? I don't know, probably not. So kind of got me thinking, what do you actually need for a career in media? Now, I don't know whether anyone's actually interested in a career in media or whether it's all IT and tech-based stuff. But there doesn't seem to be any particular route or path through. And I think that's been the difficult part of this presentation. So I think I'm going to tell you right now, there's no conclusion to this presentation. So I surveyed my company. 50% of Forward and Thinking employees have got relevant qualifications, be that in media or in marketing or in any other kind of discipline like that, like graphic design. 50% of us, me included, have got no relevant qualifications, unless you count a degree in drama as a relevant qualification. But the owner of the company owns the company purely by happenstance, purely by the fact that she kind of got good at speaking to clients. So we really are a 50-50 split in terms of whether or not qualifications have got us to the point that we've got. I'm fortunate to work with a number of really, really good people in my company. My MD, Natalie, has worked from Forward and Thinking right from the off. I've got to do me a little video. Now the sound on here is not very loud, so I'm going to try and turn it up as loud as I humanly can. It's certainly not as loud as me, but let's see what she's got to say. So I don't know how much of that you actually got. It is really quiet. The next video is a little bit louder. But basically, Natalie graduated from university, did a degree in economics. Now, full disclosure, there was a marketing element to that degree as well. She did a grad role after that, and then came to Forward and Thinking and worked at Forward and Thinking for free for a couple of weeks to see whether she'd like it, whether it's an industry she wants to work in, but also to see whether we liked her. And as she said, yeah, we did, and we've employed her, and she's now the MD of the company and doing very, very well indeed. I'm introduced to Lydia. So Lydia is what we call a content producer, which I think is quite a modern phrase. She's one of the newest members of Forward and Thinking and is absolutely responsible for every single thing that you see coming out of our company in terms of social media, in terms of any video that we produce, and in terms of this presentation, it all kind of goes through our marketing department to make sure it's absolutely on brand and it's the right colours, and I get told off for using the wrong font and everything else like that. So Lydia's route into the company was quite traditional by what I gather within the industry. I think it's a little bit louder. So yeah, part of Lydia's degree that she chose actually insisted that she had to have work experience to graduate. And she came and worked for us for a couple of weeks and also for a videography company for a couple of weeks to gain the relevant experience that she needed to get the job in the first place, but also to actually graduate. She's absolutely excellent, really, really good employee. The next person is a company we work with called the Media Partnership. Now, I asked that guy a couple of questions slightly differently. I asked him what qualifies him to own the company that he owns, but also what he looks for in potential employees of people he's actually going to take on. He's also got a really nice voice and is the voice of the Newcastle Metro, if you ever go around Newcastle. So Mark did a media degree, but also alongside his media degree, he also ran the student radio station as well at university. But then after his degree, he worked for free for 6 months in a radio station to gain the experience that he needed to carry on and get the job that he wanted. And I did this presentation yesterday, and one of the teachers actually kind of said, after university or when you've done your GCSEs or when you've done your A-levels, there are these gaps where you can take advantage of that and contact people to kind of get the experience that you need. And I thought that was a really, really good point. So I'm going to use that and pass it off as my own idea. So all of those 3 people and a number of other people in the industry as well, there seems to be a bit of a theme that they've worked for free to get the experience that they need. And I hate this slide. I hate this kind of idea that it's, University of Life and School of Hard Knocks, and the way to get experience is by learning on the job and what have you. But there is, in media, I think there's an element of truth to it, because it is stuff that you can't just learn at university, you can't just learn at college, you have to kind of gain experience. This phrase kind of stuck a little bit in my head, which is, much of our education is to be obtained only in the School of Hard Knocks. There is no age limit, and the sooner we are graduated, the better for us. And I think, to paraphrase that is, I think one of the themes of this presentation is, the one thing a lot of people look for is experience, and I'm really, really conscious of speaking to university graduates, and I've spoken to college graduates, and the one thing that they struggle with always is getting that experience. And I'm going to try and give you a little bit of advice on that. But the School of Hard Knocks theory, which I hate, kind of stands true a little bit, I'm afraid, in the media industry. So my agency works with numbers and numbers of different types of clients, as I said. One of them is a college called Leicester College. I went to Leicester College and asked Wajida, who is the marketing manager for the college, some advice. So she works in the media field, marketing alongside us, this college. And actually she gave me a bit of her story as well. She said, I studied media technology as a degree. I completed A-levels in media, English literature, sociology and IT, which all complemented doing media overall in terms of writing, understanding target audiences and technology. So that's pretty much what her job is. So the one thing I'd say about that is she had her eyes on the prize right from the beginning. When she was doing her GCSEs, she knew where she wanted to head. And so she took the right A-levels and moved on. So one piece of advice she gave is, look at the type of university courses available and work backwards. Look at what you want to do and work backwards to what you need to do to get there. She says some courses are similar but different. For example, you have media courses that involve creative elements or coding elements. Her course had both, and then you can choose kind of which way you want to go down. So if you want to go down a game design route, you can still kind of go down that route with a media course as well. Her second piece of advice was explore BTEC and digital T-level options. She's obviously selling a college route. She works for a college. She's a really, really big believer in college education. BTEC and digital T-level options can also lead to university and equal the same UCAS points. With these options, you can spend 2 years doing that same subject. There are varying courses that can lead to media, such as computing, film and photography, graphic design, etc. And what we found in the media circle is that those more practical courses really give you a head start when you've got to university as well. So I don't know kind of whether everyone's taking A-levels and I'm preaching college education to you. I'm sorry if I am. But that's just the way it is. So then it kind of got me thinking, and we've done a bunch of interviews recently, and it's what do we look for if we're employing people? I spoke to Mark from the Media Partnership as well, and the vast majority of the answers have been the same, which is, what experience have they got? That's the first and foremost question. If they haven't got experience, what do we look for then? We look for qualifications, enthusiasm, a will to actually want to do the job, a passion to do the job in the first place. And I'm really, really conscious that that kind of word experience just keeps coming through and coming through. So that's kind of what we look for as employers. So what have we learned? Most people in media who are doing media courses or working in media have got a passion for it in the first place, whether it's programming games, whether it's cinema photography and shooting people doing speeches to students, Whether it's people, we had G here yesterday who works for my marketing department. She's really, really into photography, and that's kind of how she's got into media that way. But a lot of people have kind of followed their passion into it, which also helps them gain the experience that they need. Unfortunately, this phrase is going to keep coming up, which is experience wins. If you're looking for a job in media, the people with the experience tend to do better than the people without. So it's how you get your experience. And qualifications can get you your experience. If you contact any filmmaking company, any marketing agency, any photography agency in the area and say, I'm just finishing my GCSEs or my A-levels or a BTEC in this course, can I come and work and shadow you for a couple of weeks so I can gain some experience, so I can stick it on my CV, so that when I'm speaking about a proper full-time job, I can say I've got that experience. 9 out of 10 times they'll say yes, because they've all been in the same boat. We've all been in the same boat. So that's me droning on about a career in media for however long it's taken. Does anyone have any questions before I ask the key take-home word? In fact, I'll ask that now. What's the key take-home word? Yes, good. I've got through. Does anyone have any questions about either the job that I do or any advice that I can give about working in media? Sorry? So in terms of marketing strategies, say what, sorry? Publish a game and advertise to it. What would I do? Okay, so with any sort of marketing strategy, the way through is always the same. You think about the audience that you want to target, and then you kind of work it back from there. So the audience you want to target, where are they? What are they doing right now? So if it's, in theory, if it's an 18 plus game, then I'll be going kind of down a cinema route, I'll be going down social media, but we kind of look at two different ways. We kind of go broadcast, which would be cinema and what have you, and then we kind of go down to more of a micro route about communicating to individuals like on social media and that kind of way. But always, for me, the policy is always audience first. Who are they? Define that audience. Who are they? Where are they? And then try to communicate with them at that point and work, almost like work on a funnel to kind of get down to that individual. So start big, cinema, billboards, TV, and then work your way down to speaking to those people at an individual level and advertising on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever that audience is watching. Instagram's flying out for us. In terms of my agency, we must have spent for clients probably over £1 million this year so far on Instagram, and it's absolutely flying for us.
I do a game, so I've done a studio.
Yeah.
And it's on 2.7K so far. What I'm doing is I'm kind of building some kind of union with other devs.
Yep.
So people who would be a threat, you befriend them.
Yeah.
On the side. So then you have more connections. When they go publish your game, and then you publish their game, and it works.
Absolutely. You're not competing with them either. You're not competing with them. They've got different games. They've got different offerings. So you might as well share. Share and share alike. Absolutely. Good question. Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Good. I've done a good job. I'll take that. I've done a good job. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Best of luck in your careers. Feel free to contact me. The speech is available again online, I think, next week. So feel free to contact me if you've got any questions as well. Thank you very much. Thank you.